All right, Brian, how was your week, my friend?
You know what? It was pretty good, but it is ending or beginning, depending on how you count your days, on a very high note with tonight's podcast, my friend.
Yes, man, dude. There's a really good show. I can't wait to talk about a little bit, and then we definitely will be talking some about the DC thing. But in order to get that conversation, you're gonna have to get through this one and check out the Pandemic Quickie, buddy.
Absolutely.
All right, should we play that funky music?
You know what? Let's make it happen, sir.
This is the Pandemic, hosted by my dad, a podcast about catching up and nerding out.
With anyone whose awesomeness levels rival mine.
So level up your awesomeness and welcome to the Pandemic.
Did I play the wrong music? I sure did.
You did, but I was just letting it roll, man. I was letting you do your thing. Hey, you're the podcast DJ. You know what?
Right.
I'm the sizzle. You're the steak. So all right, there we go.
Well, welcome to the Pandemic presents PreVenge of the Nerds. We are your one-stop podcast. Every week, we are going to give you all the things to level up your awesome. You can also order my kids' book, Leveling Up My Awesome, and Stuffed Animal Night Force versus the Dream Invaders on Amazon, or contact me for autographed copies. Now, this is how the show is going to go. Actually, that's not how the show is going to go. We're going to do something a little bit different this month. Brian, why don't you go ahead and intro the way February is going to look like on PreVenge of the Nerds, buddy?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in our podcast universe, welcome again to PreVenge of the Nerds, and we're going to level up our awesome. But we're going to do something a little different for the next few shows. Now that it is the month of February, we are recording on February 5th. We're going to take a little peek at and honoring Black History Month by talking about some of our favorite actors, films that really reflect African American community, African American stars. And remember, as always, Black history is American history. So it's our privilege just to give you a little piece of the culture of African Americans with our podcast over the next few weeks.
Yeah, man. So you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I'm not sorry.
Bueller. As I was hurt, and again, I may have shared this in the previous show. It is not Ferris. It is Bueller.
So I heard Say Ferris on the radio. Was it yesterday?
Okay.
So I was like, all right. It was on. I don't work actually.
Sure.
I don't know, probably the soundtrack playlist or something was going on, but yeah. So
I mean, Ferris. Before we jump too much into this other thing, Ferris just was one of those first movies that I watched. We'll do a deeper dive. That one, I was like, wait a minute. So Ferris Bueller started to do a little bit of my preventionists, because I remember watching on television, and I actually saw Ferris Bueller after Dirty Dancing. So I was like, wait a minute. So Johnny's girlfriend is Ferris's sister. So would that make Johnny and Ferris brother-in-laws? And in a way, right,
dude,
right? Could you imagine the insecurity if you're Ferris and she brings Johnny home? Yeah, exactly. Or more importantly, can you imagine Ferris's mom and Jen brings Johnny home? So yeah, that could be a thing. I think I've seen some movies that started off like with the stepmom, son-in-law things, and I mean, usually at that point you maybe look under the bed for that box. You maybe slowly pull it out. You lift the lid. Eyes closed, barehanded. Maybe reach in and you find the true meaning of Dirty Dancing. So, sir, save me from ourselves and Let's talk a bit about tonight's podcast, my friend.
Yeah, before we get do that, let's talk about our favorite movie and TV show for the week. And I'll write them down so I can tag them on.
Should we do our typical introduction, sir? You just want to jump into this?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. I am the
Look at who we
self-proclaimed
are.
Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butan, and this is my co-host, the unverified twin of Shamar Moore, at least in the nipples, Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the eyebrows, and Dave Batista in the head wrinkles.
You know what? The head wrinkles are real thing. I got my hair cut the other day, and the head wrinkles are really winning right now. The head wrinkles are really winning. So, while you may not be one of the fortunate few to get to see my nipples, you may get to see the head wrinkles. Okay. All right. And with that, my name is Brian S. Dennis, where the S stands for the heart-shaped herb.
Nice. Yeah, so my hair is actually able to lay down now. And Kaylee doesn't know this yet, but I think I am going to attempt to grow the handlebar mustache.
Do it, bro.
I am going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot, man.
Do it. So you worried about, because I mean, with handlebar mustache, I would feel you would hit, Sam Elliott vibes. But is there any concern you might go Snidely Whiplash?
I'm going for Sam Elliott.
Okay. I'll warn you as your boy if you hit little Snidely Whiplashes, And if you do that, all you gotta do is curl it up a little bit.
Yeah.
As you do the Dastardly D's, man. It's okay.
Right. I'll get some good mustache wax. I've been researching it.
Absolutely.
They have a thing on Amazon called mustache training wheels. That is a thing. The more you know. Yeah. So I'm going to give it a good month or two. It'll probably drive me nuts way before I get there, and I'll scrap the whole thing. But, we're going to
For some of us, our mustache training wheels are called our first girlfriends.
And then you go to your parents' room.
Oh, my goodness. All the things we would never post on TikTok. Okay.
Oh, that's an invite for me to make a cut here, right?
Absolutely. Oh, wow. Okay, let's get into it, man. Brad, what was your movie of the week?
My movie of the week was actually Wakanda Forever. I watched it this morning. Going into, I knew we were doing this tonight,
right?
And it was fresh on Disney Plus, and
absolutely,
I didn't remember that until this morning. So, I watched it this morning. And this was my fourth time seeing the movie. I saw it 3 times in the theaters.
Sure.
And man, it's it's a good Marvel movie. I prefer it in the theater though. But I mean, man, it's not made for low volume.
Right. Low volume or small. Even if you have a large flat screen in your or whatever television, most of us have flat screen at this point. Even if you have a large monitor in your home, similar to, and I never thought I'd compare this, similar to if you watch Titanic or Avatar, Prometheus, in those really big movies, even a large screen isn't a movie screen. So, things get compressed a little bit. Absolutely.
Yeah, but man, it's still so freaking good. And
if you're gonna hear Rihanna, you need it as loud as you possibly can. Just saying.
I mean, yeah, because you need that umbrella to cover yourself,
And you are the good girl gone bad, sir. All right.
I try. But my TV show of the week, I don't know if you've seen. I don't think I texted you about this one because I wanted to see if right away on the show. Have you watched Shrinking?
Have not.
Shrinking with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. It is fantastic. It is funny. It is fun.
Okay.
My wife doesn't like it, but I'm cracking
up. Wait,
did
you use that as a pro or a con that your wife doesn't like it? Because your tone was always like, this could be for me.
Yeah. This is definitely for me. Dude, you'll like it, man.
I'll check it out. I will check it out.
It's hilarious.
I've seen the
3
ads.
episodes in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I like when shows can really put a cool little undertone to it.
Sure.
Like some real stuff happen, but keep it light, and it's man, the supporting cast is fantastic.
Beautiful.
I'm not gonna give anything away because I really want you to check it out.
Definitely.
Just man, dude, you're gonna dig it so
All right.
much.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, sir. So my movie of the week, shocker of shockers, is also Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2. So I've actually watched it a few times this week. First thing on Facebook, I do a Black History, quote, not
Mhm.
quote, but little post every day for Black History Month. So Wednesday, I made my first post and kind of going about my day, and I just posted Black History Month. That means it's the first. It means that Wakanda Forever was out. So I've watched it 2 or 3 times this week. Again, while some things are smaller just because of our ability to watch the movie in our homes versus on the
Mhm.
big screen, it still holds up incredibly well. And I still have to fight a little ocular perspiration, especially at the end when we meet Toussaint. But speaking of ocular perspiration, my show of the week, which I actually watched immediately after our recording last week,
Yeah,
was The Last of Us.
dude, such a good episode, man.
Oh my goodness. I was in all the feels. I just was like, and I don't know if you watch anyone's social media, most of you have said, if there's been one episode that should be considered like and again the Emmys, I forget how they do this, but if there's whatever gets you really early Emmy nominations for specific acting as well as the overall show, this kind of was a mic drop. Like what will and you take a post-apocalyptic show that most people are watching for action, probably has a very similar fan base as The Walking Dead. A lot of video gamers have watched it, and then to drop that episode right there, and just you didn't get what it was until you got what it was,
Mhm.
and you kept waiting for it to be something different. And for those of us that have not seen episode 3 of this season's Lost of Us, episode 4 obviously comes out tonight. If you've not watched the show because you don't think it's a show for you, the rest of the show may not be. Episode 3 is a similar. We talked about how Wakanda Forever
Mhm.
is a great movie that has superheroes in it. Episode 3 is a great show, a great episode that happens to occur with zombie-esque things,
Mhm.
which are also in the episode. Really, not much at all. I mean, that's how people.
I don't think at all.
Yeah, I don't think they're in it at all.
Like
So
it's implied in parts of it, but they
right,
don't show
right,
it.
right. And just the way that Nick Offerman, I'm forgetting the other gentleman's name,
Mhm.
just that was just again, and this is one of your earlier times listening. Bradley and I, being the manly men that we are, we don't cry. We have ocular perspiration, and dude, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous, and I've watched it 3 times, and every time I have to say, even knowing what's coming, I have the same reaction. So Lost of Us was my my show of the week, and I'm going to take one more second
Mhm.
because I said I would. If anyone is listening to our podcast and go, "Hey, I want something new that's kind of in the superhero genre, but maybe a different take," if you've not watched the show Extraordinary, watch it. It doesn't get a lot of it hasn't, and it's been out for a little bit, so maybe it's just newer to me. But Extraordinary, which follows a world in the UK where everybody receives their superpowers when they turn 18, follows a woman who is 25 without powers. And while that sounds like kind of okay, a sound of a silly trope, it is a comedy. It is done extremely well, and it takes a very unique view in a world where we now have movies that come out with superpowered people. Seems like every month
Mhm.
anymore between DC, Marvel, and just all the other things. Um, this legitimately was a completely original application I've seen, and that's hard for me to say. So I would really suggest you watch Extraordinary. I think it's 8 episodes. They're a half hour or so each. Great watching. Great watching.
Yeah, man. I'll just want to add one thing to Last of Us episode 3. I hope people are paying attention because there's been a lot of Hollywood trying to make a good homosexual love story,
Mm-hmm.
and most of them failed. Bros, failure.
Mm-hmm.
A spoiler alert. Guess what? It didn't last long in the theaters at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if made process, but Last of Us episode 3 did it right.
Yes.
They put out something amazing. It was just a good episode. I went into the episode thinking like, okay, I want my zombie stuff, and I was like, oh, not gonna get that. But Kaylee was sleeping right next to me. She fell asleep, and I'm sitting here like, oh, it's a drama, and I was glued. I was freaking glued.
Well,
So
one of the
good
things
job.
it does so well, and again, we want to scroll out spoilers. I don't want to get too much into you told a little bit about it, which I think should be a motive for people to watch it. But again, and we've seen a lot of these type of, certainly from the television show, whether it's The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, iZombie, Black Summer. There's even shows like Van Helsing. All these, things going wrong. Going back to obviously Dawn of the Dead and all that sort of stuff. And I Am Legend. We have lots of these types of premise shows, and there's always a thing where people just turn on each other, like someone betrays someone else. You know who the bad guy or woman is, you know who the antagonist is, or good people die because good people die. This was a genuine heartfelt that had all those things going on around it, but show two genuine people who find each other. And the title of the episode is One More Good Day. And that's really what it gave us. So
Yeah.
again, it came out and it hit so powerfully because it is the antithesis of what you expect. It's the antithesis of what you expect. This wasn't a NBC hour-long drama that you're checking out because that's your must-see watching. This was something completely different, and they were in it. Pedro Pascal was in it long enough to make probably get paid for the episode. I was just because it is the way. But they steal it. They absolutely steal it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm trying to Google the other gentleman's name. So it is Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett. Nick Offerman, you may know from a variety of things. I believe also Community. He's married to Megan Mullally, who you may know from Will and Grace, and then Murray Bartlett, who I'm not familiar with anything before this, but both of them should get some definite Oscar, some definitely Emmy consideration. All right.
Yeah. All right. Good
Boom.
job, man. Let's talk. Let's talk about the history of Black Panther.
Yes, sir. All right. So first off, the reason that we're talking about this is, again, it is Black History Month. We saw the release of Wakanda Forever back on Disney Plus, or the D Plus, as I like to call it, on Monday. On Wednesday. It also has gotten nominated for the sequel. But again, Wakanda Forever got nominated for quite a few Oscars, including Angela Bassett for an acting nod, which you don't get that very often. And Black Panther, both the original and the sequel, so Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2, I believe they are the two most critically acclaimed superhero movies that we've seen. The first Superman was well received. Logan was well received, but I think when you look at, especially for a franchise, with all the special effects, the work that has been done by Angela Bassett, Chadwick Boseman, Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, the cast goes on and on and on. It's fantastic. So we're going to talk a little bit about Black Panther, both the character within the movie and the character as he has lived primarily in the comic book. So I can start off with just a few little known facts about Black Panther, because when I was doing a little research, I go, well, this is really interesting. So here are a few things that a lot of people may or may not know about Black Panther. So first off, Bradley, did you know why he is not, and by Black Panther I mean Prince T'Challa, or King T'Challa, While he is not the first black character to be featured in a comic book, he made history as the first powered black character ever in American comics. And to that point, number one, had he not been, most black characters were number one sidekicks, and they never ever had powers. In fact, that was one of the things that the comic code had frowned upon. Were giving black characters or characters of any minority descent special powers because they felt that would not be received well by readership. So, Black Panther, the first powered black character.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. Because Black Panther was 1962, 1963, right?
66.
66. Okay.
Yep.
Because I thought that he came after Luke. No, never mind. Okay.
No, but keep Luke Cage in mind in a few minutes. No, Black Panther was the first powered superhero, and actually it came about because as Stan Lee was looking at his catalog of characters, he realized he didn't have a black character, but Stan Lee in an interview stated that his very first friend was black. And it was one of those things that we talk about, some implicit biases that happen. It had never occurred to him that he did not have a black character. So he created Black Panther. But with that being said, this actually came about when the original Black Panther movie that came out in 2018, some people are less familiar with the character, to be gentle with folks, give him some grace. Some people thought the character had a some type of alignment or connection to the Black Panther Party, and it does not. In fact, the Black Panther character predates the Panther Party, when interviews with Lee and some of his earlier drawings and writings show that it existed as a character far before the political party. With that being said, though, he did get some pushback when trying to push out a large-scale major character named Black Panther, because at the time that Black Panther was coming out, the Panther Party was in full existence. So for a while there, to even get some of the artwork done, they had to rename the character. So the character, to get the artwork done, was actually renamed the Coal Tiger. Say that again. The coal, like burning coal, tiger.
Oh.
Yeah. Doesn't just roll off the tongue like Black Panther does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can tell you, as a black man, if you came to a character called the Coal Tiger, like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. What? Can you turn this to diamonds, or what's happening here? All right.
Right. Man, you know what? I don't think, if I was at a comic book store,
yeah,
I don't think, I think I'll just pass on the Coal Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
like you should be from West Virginia, right? All right. And then, because Black Panther did come out in a Fantastic Four comic before Black Panther had his own book, again, in response to pushback regarding the possible connection, while there was none, between Black Panther, the comic character, and the Black Panther Party, in a couple issues of Fantastic Four, he is renamed to Black Leopard.
That's not much better.
No.
That's actually, I think that's might be okay.
Yeah. However, Black Leopard renames himself Black Panther in the comic book by actually citing one other comic character and saying that their name shouldn't be changed. And that character was the Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
They actually mentioned in the comic some concern, like, won't he be, because Lee has always tried to integrate the real world in his writing, going, are you afraid that they would confuse you with the Black Panther Party? To which he goes, with the Scarlet Witch rename herself because people don't like witches. So he is the Black Panther. All right. Another fun fact. Black Panther is one of the few, and I was trying to see if he was the only. I didn't get far enough to swear to only, but I do know he's one of the very few, if not only, character to be a member of the X-Men. And remember, he is not a mutant, but to be a member of the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Defenders. He's one of the very few, if not only character, to be in all three of those Marvel teams. And then the last one, which many of us know, and I was hoping would get integrated into the comics, but unfortunately that didn't happen. RIP to Chadwick Boseman, is the character actually marries and later divorces, but marries the character Storm, the X-Man Storm.
Yeah.
They actually have a child in an alternate continuity.
Mhm.
Do you happen to know the child's name, sir?
I don't. Not off the top of my head.
His name is Azari. And there are rumors at this point, rumors that there may be an upcoming character named Azari in future Black Panther products, including the very strong hinting, because she was recent back she hinted during an interview with Colbert, the actress that plays Okoye, that Okoye will be getting a spinoff series, and there's rumor that there will be a character named Azari as part of a future Black Panther family, whether it's a future film, a spinoff show, possibly an Ironheart. But there is rumor that there will be a character named Azari. That's just a cool name, too.
That is really
Azari
cool.
in a future Marvel product associated with Black Panther.
It's like saying I'm sorry, but not really sorry.
Right.
Yeah, it's like
Kind of like a
sorry.
bye-bye. How do you feel? You know
Right,
what?
right.
You know what?
Oh,
Azari. Azari.
Azari.
Not on my heart. Azari.
Oh, we're
I
turning
love
that
it.
into a banner.
That should be a thing. For a little more detail on Azari, Azari had both because his father had the powers of the heart-shaped herb. He was born with the same abilities as the Black Panther, as well as his mom's control of the weather. So Azari is a very powerful mutant in an alternate continuity.
Didn't
There's some
he?
fun facts. Go ahead, sir.
Didn't Azari? Or maybe I'm thinking like an Elseworlds or something.
Okay.
Or What If? But wasn't Black Panther's son in the Avengers?
In the this character does join the Avengers in another continuity. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
man. A Storm and it is sad that they never got there in the movies. And I like how they ended Wakanda Forever, you know.
Sure.
But man, how freaking awesome would it have been for Storm to show up? Dude.
And I do have another theory if we can go on, because I have some
Let's do it.
as I'm writing my mind for this. So I do feel eventually, for a couple reasons, I do feel that Marvel has and again, like I have any inside knowledge, but I think Marvel can use Wakanda as the launching point for lots of different things, and they've done such a great job of showing the power that Wakanda has in the movies. So why would Wakanda not be a place where an African American, a Black powered person, especially if they feel they're not accepted by the general world, why would they not be drawn there? So while we don't have King T'Challa in Wakanda for Storm to fall in love and eventually marry, Wakanda does have a king. We have King M'Baku. And could you imagine some type of bridge where you have M'Baku and Storm, and that now is the storyline in which we take place? That could actually, as we look at those larger, big scale Avenger products, also let's remember that the actor who is playing Kang the Conqueror is also African American. So there may be lots of ways to entertain, again, whether it's in things that are already planned or things in the future. I think you're going to see Wakanda being used as a haven, a place that I can see it in some post-credit scenes in Wakanda, and you see an individual such as Storm showing up. That is my kind of, also Marvel, if you're listening, and we know you are, I think you should give us, and Bradley, you keep on more of the articles than I do. Has there been any word on, with the upcoming X-Men movies, Is Storm part of that first set of mutants? Has there been talk about who will be cast as her? Any things of that nature?
Nothing that I've read, but my theory is that X-Men are going to be in a different Earth,
Okay.
and they're not going to be in the MCU until Secret Wars. That's when they're going to
Mm,
be introduced. And then at the end of Secret Wars,
sure.
because everything becomes one,
Okay.
we'll get Azari and we'll get Storm because everything is going to merge into one. Survival of the fittest. Um, that's kind of that's my thinking
Yeah.
anyway. That's how I believe they're going to bring X-Men in.
What we could also get is going back to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Wouldn't it be interesting if we had a Professor X list X-Men? What if the X-Men came but without Charles Xavier? So if you've seen Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness,
Led by
think
Magneto.
yes, things do not go well for the good professor. It's also we both love Patrick Stewart,
Mhm.
but the man is in his 80s. Um, and there's been lots of talk about recasting it. Giancarlo Esposito is one of the more common names when it comes out to that. And Bradley, I sent you a TikTok that actually talked about how they could work Denzel as Magneto, which I thought was fantastic.
Mhm.
But regardless of that, what if you had the X-Men come in and think about it? Think about the X-Men coming to our continuity, but knowing that, again, this gets to the spoilers, you've not seen Doctor Strange 2. But what if feeling they're kind of away with the death of Professor X at the hands of our Wanda, they come in really very much against the 616 continuity, and they're led by Magneto, so they're a much more militant group. And let's say the one person that's trying to play the peacemaker was someone like Storm, who had come through trauma, who had been found by Professor X, and maybe along the way she happens to meet someone like a king of Wakanda, King M'Baku, and their relationship begins to start the bridge of the X-Men. I think having an X-Men versus the Avengers movie at the post Secret Wars, that would be fantastic.
I think they have to do it. They have to, man. And X-Men will kick the crap out of the Avengers all day,
Mhm.
every day. Not even it's not even a competition, man.
And give us, again, since we're doing this, since we're fan casting this, give us Zoe Kravitz' Storm. Give us Zoe Kravitz' Storm.
I I like that. I definitely can dig that. I mean, can you imagine she's Catwoman and Storm?
Absolutely. That's what made me think I really want Zoe Kravitz as Storm, and I just think that would just be fantastic. Another thought I had really quickly of someone else who could potentially lead this would be, what about someone like a LeVar Burton?
Oh,
I
dude,
think,
that'd be cool.
yeah, if we could slide in LeVar Burton in, also that contact that relationship with Patrick Stewart from the Star Trek products, but
Yeah.
give us a LeVar Burton,
Well,
you know?
Picard season 3 comes out. Is it next
Yeah,
week?
I think you're right.
I think it's the
Yes,
13th,
yes,
12th or
yes.
13th. Yeah.
Yes, I've been so busy I didn't realize that 1923 has a new episode today, so that's my viewing after we get done.
Same. Yeah.
Yes, so the new 1923 dropped with the sun returning from Africa. All right, so which is, by the way, where we find Wakanda. All right,
Hey,
sir.
well done,
You
sir.
like
Well
that?
done.
You like that, sir? All right. So along the line, but before we discuss a little bit more about this, can I steal a little bit of time and do an honest ad for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, because I mentioned at the beginning of my introduction, and in case anyone wonders, my intro will always say S, and I know my medals never begin with S. I enjoy that. So we're going to talk a little bit about the heart-shaped herb. So here's an honest ad for the heart-shaped herb. Get ripped and lean with the most with the all. I'm sorry. Get ripped and lean with the most all natural but extraterrestrial supplement in the world, the heart shaped herb. Tired of diets, exercise, and doing without? Or maybe you're just looking for something a little medicinal. Simply crush this herb and mix it with the favorite chaser of your choice. I like Hennessy. And do a short burial and experience a vision of your ancestors to be granted increased strength, stamina, and overall fitness. Side effects include being the target of international conflicts, assassination attempts, and the risk of being thrown off of tall cliffs and invaded by mer people. But say yes to a life again, however short it may be, with the heart-shaped herb.
And then there's also the heart-shaped box that sometimes you can find under your parents' bed. Also, you can find it in
Especially on the
utero.
14th. Especially on the 14th. Uh,
Oh, all right. Oh, well done, Brian.
Thank
Well
you.
done. All
By the
right,
way,
let's.
kids, if your parents ever get a delivery, like let's say like a brown paper sack, and you just think, what is this? Shake it a little bit, and if you hear a slight murmuring noise, open it.
It's okay. Yeah,
It's fine. It's fine.
yeah.
All right.
Just
Yeah,
tell them that Brian told you
yeah. Maybe take it to Sunday school and open it there.
to. Yeah. All right. Are
All
you
right,
ready?
yeah.
Are you ready to go through Chadwick Boseman's filmography?
Please, sir.
Do
Please.
you want to take a guess on his first IMDb acting cred?
I am not going to cheat and look. I do not have a clue. Give me what it is, sir.
All My Children, back in
No.
2003.
No. He was on a soap? Wow.
Yep, he was
All
in
right.
one. Oh, it doesn't say how many episodes, but yep, got to start. He got to start in All My Children.
Okay.
In 2003, then he did some Third Watch.
All right.
I remember Third Watch.
I do as well.
Law and Order. He did one episode of Law and Order in 2004. Right, and then he was in one episode of CSI New York.
Nice.
Then in 2008, this is probably when people started recognizing him, but he was in The Express. Then he did a little stint on ER in 2008.
Yep. I remember that.
I remember that too. Yep. Cold Case. He was in Cold Case. Loved that show. All right. Then Lie to Me. Do you remember Lie to Me?
Lie to Me was an underrepresented. I mean, that show did not get the run it should have gotten.
No, man.
It was right up there with House. It did not get the run it should have gotten.
House, The Mentalist, dude.
Yes.
Yes. I love that show.
Yes.
Oh,
By the way, I've been in the Mentalist when I can't sleep, and it just holds up very well. Very well.
Does it?
Yeah.
I keep on thinking. I keep on going to HBO. I'm like, Dad, do I want to start The Mentalist over? All right. So in 2000, it looks like he was in 9 episodes of Lincoln Heights between
Good show as well.
2008 and 9. Persons Unknown were at 2010. He was in 13 episodes of that. I don't remember that show. I don't remember Persons Unknown.
Me either.
But I do remember the next one, The Glades. Did you watch The Glades?
I did watch The Glades. I did.
Loved that show. Absolutely. That show ended on a cliffhanger, and I am still mad about it to this day.
Nothing will hit the cliffhanger that The Sopranos gave me, middle finger.
Right?
But yeah. But I feel you. The Glades, yes.
Oh, and then, dude, we can now link Chadwick Boseman to The Rookie because he was in one episode of Castle.
Speaking of which, did you see the past week's Rookie where they had the thing at the hospital?
Yes.
Did you catch the nod to Castle? Did you catch that with the casting?
No.
So the criminal who's donating the kidney, the actor played his daughter is the actor played Castle's daughter.
Oh, awesome.
She just had super short hair when she had longer hair in Castle, but no, same actress. Awesome. I wish I could remember her name to give her proper credit. But again, it's like, okay, there it is. Yes.
Awesome. And then back in 2011, he was in an episode of Detroit 187.
Again, very good show. I don't remember his episode, but really like Detroit 187.
He was also in an episode of Justified, another
That
great FX show.
yes. I mean, just again, not to take us away from
Mhm.
Chadwick's filmography, but so much what you're mentioning, those USA and FX shows that we had, just really started showing just how great they were. Like I said, The Glades, Justify, all these really awesome shows, and these awesome shows drew a lot of great talent, namely one Mr. Bozeman.
Yeah. And then this I did not know, and I am actually currently rewatching this show. This is my I'm falling asleep show.
Yes,
Fringe. He
yes.
was in an episode of Fringe in 2011, so 2 years before it ended.
I keep waiting for the Mighty Ducks to show up in Fringe. I don't know why. I just keep waiting for the Ducks. I just keep waiting for Emilio Estevez to go quack 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 quack.
Man,
Like I feel like if they just had the flying V,
yeah.
that would solve so many of the problems that they run into with Fringe.
I miss Emilio Estevez, man. Dude, he needs to do more stuff.
I mean, hey, it would not shock me if maybe he shows up in a Taylor Sheridan show at some point.
That would be awesome, dude. I mean, he was Billy the Kid, so
Exactly.
you know.
And Emilio, feel free to bring your dad. Maybe leave Charlie at home.
Yeah, no tiger's blood here. No.
Yeah, that's just no. Or if he's gonna make a quick one shot and be done, like literally shows up and like maybe he can show up and Stallone like beat the hell out of him in the new Tulsa King season. That'd be fine. That'd be fine. We'll be
Stallone's
good.
getting a reality show on Paramount too.
Is he?
Yeah,
I
like
don't know how I feel about that.
I guess it's gonna be more about his daughters than about
Okay.
him. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm like,
Okay.
and I'm the same. I'm like, I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Of
but,
course,
like,
you want to see the
yeah,
train wreck.
right?
I only hope we get a Brigitte Nielsen sighting, like just
Just
one.
one. I want to.
Yeah, like maybe she's outside the Stallone. In my head, Stallone lives in a compound. Like maybe she's outside the Stallone compound, like knocking on the door, and he won't let her. Like we've all had that crazy ex story, so maybe that's what we get. Like Stallone, I just can't. And like Dolph is there. It was like, hey, you dated her too, like for.
And then Arnold shows up, and he's
Yeah.
like, "I dated her in the movie."
Yeah, and then then to save the day, they have to call in your boy Flav. Like Flav, yeah, boy, is this okay? Again, if you're listening, we will write your reality show because we know they're written. We will write your reality show. Yes, grow through stupidity, and anything else. Here's another one. Flavor Flav makes everything better.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
like that a lot.
I'm gonna have my own ramen. I'm gonna make my own ramen company, and I'm gonna call my flavor packets Flavor Flav.
Oh, dude, we just need to start doing T-shirts.
Yes.
Let's we'll talk about that offline. But we should
Yeah,
start doing
yeah,
we'll start doing some T-shirts. So,
Boom.
all right. Then after Fridge, he was in a movie called The Kill Hole. Also, something that you could probably find under your parents'
bed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have truthfully rubbed off on you, and I've never been prouder. Yes.
And then the movie that pretty much made him a household name, 42.
Sir, can we
Jack
just pause? We got to okay, first off, the person whose life, and this is really again one of the reasons I became such a huge fan and why it was such a splash when he was cast as Black Panther, and is going to come in one of the next films you mentioned he was in as well, is he played Jackie Robinson with such honor and respect, and showed what that person went through. The Robinson family was very touched with his portrayal, and just, I mean, that right there started the whole, oh wow,
Yeah.
Who is this cat? You know, we started there started to have a lot of similarity, to call him a young Denzel, which obviously he didn't want to be the next Denzel, he wanted to be the first Chadwick, but just that was one of the first ones, and the scene when he actually, speaking of Nathan Fillion, the gentleman that was also in Firefly, and I cannot think of his name right now. He stars in Resident Alien as well. I cannot
Alan
think of
Tudyk.
Thank you. The scene with Alan Tudyk and Chadwick Boseman, but Bradley, you may remember the scene where he used the word that we all know he used, and just that back and forth. And I remember seeing an article with Tudyk talking about what a tough scene that was for him to do, because you're using words you don't really want to use, right?
Yeah.
And having to deliver them with such visceral, you had to tap into something to do that. That scene, I remember watching it in the theater, just for me to put down my popcorn is a thing. I don't mean it as a joke. Like for real, I was just transfixed just
Mhm.
watching that interplay. Such a great movie, and such a great performance. So yes, 42 definitely started the Chadwick train rolling.
Yeah. After 42, Draft Day with one Kevin Costner, who
Yes,
was also in Yellowstone.
yes. Are you familiar with Draft Day?
Yes, it's a good movie.
Very good, very good.
It's underappreciated.
It is,
Yeah.
including Costner's girlfriend, fiance, baby mama, was one Jennifer Garner, aka Electra. So
Mhm.
all the connections.
Yeah, man. Kevin Costner's a really good actor, but Kevin Costner is best in a Western, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a modern day, cowboy.
Yep, yep. He loves sports, so there's he has so many sports oriented movies. But you're right. When he gets to do that outdoors, I mean, he's got a show uh on Fox's Great America, whatever. But basically, it's a kind of an outdoor naturalist show. I probably watch it. Was on National Geographic. I'm trying not to give Fox any more of my money, reasons. But he definitely, I get you, when he gets to play that gritty cowboy outdoorsy person again. That's when he seems to be at his best.
Yeah. All right. He was also in Get On Up. He played James
There,
Brown.
that one, as great as his portrayal of Jackie Robinson was, James Brown was even better because similar to Jamie Foxx when playing Ray Charles, when we saw Joaquin Phoenix playing Johnny Cash. When you play a singer, more so when you play an actor or a sports figure, when you play a singer, there's so many of their mannerisms that you have to get down because we get so used to their voice. Actors change up their voice and their cadence for different roles. Athletes, we used to see them perform on a field more so than hearing their interviews, unless someone like Ali. But to play James Brown, who was so iconic, and just the way the movie number one was done, it is one of my absolute favorite movies, probably my favorite biopic. And then the way he had down the singing, the dancing, the personality, the voice, so much of that was done so incredibly well. It was tremendous. It was absolutely tremendous. And again, this was, as much as 42 made me notice Chadwick, this is why I was like, Chadwick's my guy after watching Get on the Bus.
Nice. All right, and then we have, and I don't remember him in this.
Get on up, now Get on the Bus. Get on up.
Yeah, Get on.
Get on the Bus is another movie. Yep.
Yeah. Gods of Egypt. I forgot that he was in that. I haven't seen that in a long time. I liked that movie.
It wasn't a hit, obviously, but it got definitely a lot of feedback for the whitewashing. When you have a movie where the gods are supposed to be Egyptian and most of the gods are white, I mean, they got some pushback for that, which they should have. But again, it was not a bad kind of action oriented supernatural movie. It was one of those things that when I watched, like, this has been a really good video game. Like, I remember watching, this has been a great video game.
I mean, he had Jamie Lannister in it,
Yep. With his hand, somehow his hand grew back when he became a god.
Right.
But he lost an eye.
That is true. That is true, and it was awesome.
Yes. Does that make him the god One Eye Willie?
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
All right, then we're going to get into probably his best known role, T'Challa. That would have been Captain America: Civil War. That was 2000.
I got to pause this for a second. He was also played Thurgood Marshall, and I think that may have been a little before Black Panther. Right? I just want to throw that out there. He played Thurgood Marshall, which may have been coming up, but I guess it didn't. His work as Thurgood Marshall was also really good. But that's it with Black Panther. Sorry about that.
That was actually in 2017. Actually,
okay.
He was actually in a movie before that too. He actually had another movie in 2016 called Message from the King, and I don't recall that one at all.
Me either.
So I'm gonna look into that. Then Marshall, Thurgood Marshall.
And then he became the king.
Yeah, yes, probably. Maybe, I don't know. We're gonna check that. I'm gonna check that one out. Then 2018, Black Panther.
Yes, sir.
2018, also Infinity War. 2019 of Endgame. I mean, all these,
Yep.
his
Civil War.
big
Yep.
character. Yep. And then 2019, 21 Bridges. Did you like that movie?
I actually did. I actually
Okay.
did. It wasn't his best work, but I actually did like 21 Bridges. I know, and you may have been gonna mention he has to one when we released either right before, or right after he died, called The Five Bloods. That
Exactly.
was really, really good as well. But 21 Bridges wasn't bad. Was not my favorite. I did like The Five Bloods though.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen Defy Bloods. I was not a big fan of 21 Bridges.
Okay.
I don't know. There was just something I don't know. But anyway, after that, also in 2020, he had a movie called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what that is
It
either.
again. It was on Netflix. It probably is not on
Okay.
there now. Just because it's been a while. It was so good. It basically follows Ma Rainey, who is and I think maybe oh gosh, I forgot who played her, and I'm gonna feel horrible. Oh shoot.
Viola
Uh,
Davis.
Thank you. I could see her, but I couldn't think of Viola's name. I always said Octavia Spencer. And no, but Viola Davis in that plays basically a singer way before civil rights, in Jim Crow America in the South, and really just how she navigated it. And he plays a member of her crew, her band, who really wants to kind of do things his own way, doesn't want to play their staple songs. And he really has a big standout. Again, this was, I believe, the first film following his death. I believe had he still been alive when this came out, he could have really pushed it more. But it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. If you like sort of those, um, not the same, but if you like kind of the era such as Man of Constant Sorrow, Oh Brother We're Out There. Sorry about
Mm,
the mistitling. You
mm.
probably like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Oh, cool. I'll check that one out too. And then his final IMDb credit is,
Hmm.
again as T'Challa,
Hmm.
as what in What If. He
Yep.
voiced his character for 4 episodes.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but yeah, what a memorable man. He's so many important roles. Man, great filmography, awesome job.
He did such a great job of. There was a lot of purposefulness
Mm-hmm.
in the characters he played, especially once. I've never been an actor, but the term struggling actor is for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But you even saw, you hear this for especially members of actors of color and women. When you play a minority group, sometimes you find that quality roles are hard to come about. So you
Yeah.
do the same thing all over and over again. There's tons of articles and stories where women have to do nude scenes early in their careers just to get work. Where African American, well, before I even get to African American, Aziz Ansari, who is a Indian actor, talks a lot about how you have to, even if you don't have an accent, if you're Indian or Asian descent, you're only allowed to play actors that have an accent,
Mm-hmm.
characters have an accent. And then, as well as a black man, a young black man, you oftentimes find yourself have to be cast as a criminal on a crime show. And you saw some things in his
Mm-hmm.
filmography like Law and Order. However, once he became Chadwick Boseman and really showed his acting chops, you saw so many of the characters, which is why I want to take a second to point out he picked especially real people that he portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
So Jackie Robinson, James Brown, Thurgood Marshall, three incredibly prominent and important individuals in African American history, in part of African American History Month, and again, his lasting legacy. And no, this may sound for those that are not big fans of what we talk about every week, that his lasting legacy being a comic book character, but it's much more than that, because and movies don't get made in a vacuum, but his portrayal of Black Panther, how well it was done, the money poured into the movie, the script by Ryan Coogler, all these things had, and it was one of the coolest things ever, was Halloween of 2018. He had a bunch of little white kids wanting to be Black Panther. And that is such a unique experience. I grew up with okay, if you listen to this podcast, you know I love me some Batman.
Mhm.
But it's not an uncommon thing to see African American children, children of color, period, wanting to be Batman, Superman, Spider Man, Luke Skywalker, fill in the blank, and they're white characters because that's
Mhm.
what we have. It's so cool though to see the opposite and to show again that true unity that we can have as a country. We had a bunch of little boys and girls who want to be Black Panther. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited for a few months from now, a bunch of little boys and girls who want to be Shuri.
Yeah.
And I am so excited for what they can what for what that does. So it means a lot. So the fact that his last roles were these futuristic, superpowered, badass people, that there's going to be lots of kids growing up for many, many, many years who believe that they can be anything because Black Panther. And that's incredibly cool.
And that's why everybody should read more comics.
It truthfully, truthfully, again, this is a kind of a tongue-in-cheek podcast. We're not trying to,
Mhm.
change the world. We talk about finding boxes underneath your parents' bedroom, and we spend most of our times trying to one up each other, especially when we have a couple cocktails. But legitimately, one of the best things about comics, when comics are at their best, is that it shows that anything is possible. Where you could be a geek who becomes your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, where you could be, Black Panther, where you could be where you could be an orphan and you become Batman. Your mother can be attacked by a vampire, you become Blade. By the way, I also want to see Blade in Wakanda. I
There.
just again, what you can see in comics show that anything is possible when you give people the opportunity, and that's all what comics are. Let's give people the opportunity, and you see people rise through the caves. So whether you are an intergalactic police officer, whether you're a millionaire or a billionaire who shoots arrows or throws batarangs, or you're the king of Wakanda, anything is possible through comics.
Well said, sir. Yeah, man. This was a lot of fun. So, well, before we start put a pin in it, let's talk about
Yes, sir.
who should we talk about next week?
Well, you know what? Why don't we do a deeper dive, and just because we've been on comic, we can move off comics after this, but why don't we do a deeper dive in maybe someone like Luke Cage?
Love
I
it.
think that would be really fun. But before that, before we put a pin in, I do want to share one of my quick thoughts on
Oh
where we
yeah.
could go, because we talk about we and I knew before we've been preventing some things. I had a quick prevenge thought, and I jotted down a couple notes about 5 minutes before we started. So here is my pitch for another movie within the Wakanda Forever family. Are
Oh,
you
bring
ready,
it.
sir?
I'm ready. Bring it.
So we know that the Black Panther movies have been focused primarily on the those that follow the Panther god Bath, and there's several tribes. But we also
Mhm.
know there's a tribe that does not worship the Panther god Bath. That actually worships the gorilla god named Hanuman, and that is the Jabari tribe.
Mhm.
And the Jabari were famously opposed to Black Panther in the original Black Panther movie. They helped out in the Battle of Wakanda in Infinity War, and you saw Jabari both. He pitched a little woo, trying to get it in some Shuri, and then actually became the king of Wakanda in Wakanda Forever. So I thought, let's take a deeper dive with the Jabari tribe. So here is my quick pitch for Prevenge, another movie in the Black Panther Wakanda Forever family. We look at back at the beginning of the split between the Wakandans and those that are part of the Jabari tribe. And we realize that the leader of the Jabari was originally a person named Mamadou Fall. He is the Jabari warrior king, and in the comics, he is the only Jabari to ever become the Black Panther. So, near his death, The Mamadou Fall character, the Jabari Black Panther, sends his family away out of fear of reprisal if he is no longer the Black Panther. And his family, including his descendants, grow up in the U.S. without knowing their background. Before he passes, his final wish is that prayer is for the gorilla god Hanuman to protect his family when they need his protection the most. And we fast forward to modern times where you have an individual who is taken captive and subjected to horrible experiments. And right as he faces death, a golden hand of the gorilla god touches him and grants him powers of super strength, instructability, and diamond hard skin. And that person is Luke Cage. What do you think?
Luke Cage is one of my favorite characters.
I know, sir.
Yes, dude. Yeah, you definitely won the episode, buddy. That was awesome.
That gets us Luke Cage to Wakanda.
Dude, that well done, and it's actually I like that better than his origin.
Yeah, then it's Power Man origin. Yeah.
I mean that's yeah. Man.
And we'll never say "Sweet Christmas." Just saying, we'll never say "Sweet Christmas." Worst catchphrase ever. Oh, "Sweet Christmas," really?
Yeah,
really? Yeah.
And why is there not a Heroes for Hire? Come on, Marvel.
Just go ahead and get us Mike Coulter, okay? Like,
yes.
I think Evil has wrapped. Give us Mike Coulter. I mean, I get that they probably are thinking about who do we bring in. You don't want to have too many projects, but and again, like we said, we're okay if you don't bring Iron Fist. We're really okay with that. But you got Jessica Jones, you got Luke Cage, you got Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
like that's our Heroes for Hire. Absolutely. You got Daredevil.
She-Hulk.
Yep, you got She-Hulk. By the way, I was reading some history on Black Panther. You know, one of the better one, famously, there is a storyline where Daredevil asked Black Panther to be the guardian of Hell's Kitchen for a while he was recovering from injury. So just saying.
That's pretty awesome, man. Dude, I used to read Daredevil, and I don't really follow him right now. Really, I in Marvel, all I follow is Wolverine.
Sure.
I love Venom, but I mean, like all the Spider-Man Venom, all those.
Sure.
There's just so many of them. I just can't follow.
They really are.
But dude, Daredevil is probably one of the best written.
Yes.
It was one of the best comics out there.
Yes.
I mean,
and they've given us the costume that we want now, by the way. But yes.
Oh, yeah. Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run is probably the best Daredevil, period.
I love me some Matt Murdock. I love the cast. I love the fact they're continuing it from the Netflix series, which again gives us precedence for people like Mike Coulter.
That'd be such a cool Heroes for Hire too.
Yes, and it'd be a cool Heroes for Hire. And again, I think you can. This is my opinion. Do whatever you want to. Also, but Mark, we know you're listening. But I think just by the fact that they spent so much time on the Netflix show showing him the defender of Harlem, that he really wants to defend, people that look like him, that Wakanda would be, if you put him in a universe that you got Wakanda to become such a thing, why would he not either A, have an interest in Wakanda, or the Wakandans, now that they're traveling the world, why would the Wakandans not want to touch base with Luke Cage, with Captain America, aka Falcon, with War Machine? I mean, there's some definite characters that why would you not, or more importantly, why would War Machine and Captain America not have an interest in Black Panther, in Wakanda, given that during the events of Infinity War and Endgame, they got to know the King very well. So I think there's a lot. I know we're running into our time. We need to do our pin in it, but that was my thought process. You got to give us some folks where, again, I just love using Wakanda as that place of introducing more characters of colors. Give us Storm, give us Luke Cage, and again, give us Captain America and War Machine, just as people that, again, hey, we know you're there and we're here to support you.
So I was just looking up, and I'm actually going to do some research on this too as well. They have teamed up several times. I guess that from the headlines, Luke Cage idolizes um, Black Panther.
Black
So
Panther. That would make
yeah,
sense. That would make
yeah,
perfect sense. So
yeah.
again,
So
give us that again. Give us some Mike Coulter, Luke Cage, and give us some Luke Cage and Wakanda.
awesome. I dig it, man. All right. So Brian, where can we find you?
As always, you can find me on Facebook, Brian Stephen Dennis. Again, for the month of February, I make daily posts on Black History Month. They're usually tongue in cheek, try to be a little funny, such as today, we discuss the history of the black mullet, aka the rat tail.
Yes, I loved it. It was pretty awesome. I was like, I had a rat tail for a little while when I was a kid.
Of course you did.
Yeah,
I
and
feel you.
my sister cut it off.
Well,
Thanks, Maddie.
once you have come from Zamunda in search of your queen, and they cut off the rat tail, Brad, you gotta lose yours too.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. All
Coming
right.
to America reference. Yeah.
So you can find me on Facebook at Fandemic. I'm also active on TikTok at Fandemic1. Here are my reviews. Actually, I haven't done a review in a while, but I do like to put little snippets of these podcasts, this podcast, the Fandemic, and soon to be a Lone Star reviews, which will more to come on that another time. Brian,
Sir.
we haven't talked about our executive producer, Stacy, in a while. I think we should give her a second to say hi. We should probably say hi to her. How's it going, Stacy? Hope you're doing well.
Absolutely. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the support.
If you want to be as amazing as Stacy and want to support our show, there are several ways you can do so. You can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/thefandemic. And Brian and I will either toast you or roast you on the next episode. It might be alcohol, probably will be alcohol, but there you go.
It will most certainly not be not alcohol. How about that?
I dig that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/PVOTN Fandemic. You can become an episode assistant, episode producer, become part, or yes, you could be part of the con. You can be part of the Council of Nerds. Starting at $5 a month. You can go to anchor.fm/PVOTN or just go to PayPal or Venmo at Bradley Butin. I would like some new equipment. So there you go. Or just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review and keep the conversation going. And don't forget, we live stream on the YouTube. So make sure you hit all the buttons that remind you every week that we go live. So Brian,
and just like the materials you may find in that box under your parents' bed, we always like to keep our equipment up to date.
That is correct. Brian, I think we are at max levels of awesome for the week. Let's end the show like we always do on a positive note.
As always, thank you for joining us for the best part of our week. We hope you have had fun, level up your awesome. Remember, no retreat, no surrender, and Goonies, never say die.
We're all playing the same game in life, just on a different level. Thanks for catching up. You're welcome for leveling up your awesome. Live free or die empty, friends. Have a good day, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.